In this video, we're going to have a look at constructing straight line graphs with using the gradient intercept method. So the aim of the video is for you to be able to construct a straight line graph without using technology. So we're going to have a look at the gradient intercept method. To graph an equation using the gradient intercept method, the first step is to identify the y-intercept. Then we want to apply the gradient for step 2 to mark in a couple of points along the line. And then step 3 is going to be using those points to draw the line. And then finally, we want to be able to label the line. Don't forget to do the final step because it is often worth a mark on your exams. Make sure you label the line with the equation from the question. So let's have a look at some examples. So for A, I want to graph using the gradient y-intercept method, a linear graph that has a gradient of 3 and a y-intercept of 1. So the first step is to identify the y-intercept, which here they've explicitly told us that it is 1. So on my graph, I can go ahead and label 1 as my y-intercept. Step 2 is going to be to apply the gradient. So here I've got a gradient of 3. So that means my gradient of 3 is, if I go across 1, I go up 3. So every time I go across 1, I need to go up 3 and label a new point. So starting at my y-intercept, which is 1, if I go across 1, I'm going to go up my y-intercept by 3, and I can put another dot. Then doing the same process again, I go across 1, and then up 3, and then put another dot. Now I've done that process twice. I've got 3 dots. I can apply my third step, which is to draw a line. So I'm going to line up my ruler and draw a line through those 3 dots, extending the length of the graph. So now that I've got my line, my final step is going to be to label the line. So y equals 3x plus 1. And that is an example of how can we use the gradient and y-intercept method to be able to construct a graph. So let's have a look at B. B, this time we've got an equation. It is y equals negative 2x plus 4. So following my same steps, I want to identify the y-intercept. So negative 2x plus 4, my y-intercept is going to be positive 4. So I can go ahead and mark that on my graph, on my Cartesian plane as my first point. Next, I need to apply the gradient. So my gradient here is going to be negative 2. So a gradient of negative 2 means that every time I go across by 1, I'm going to go down by 2. So starting off with 4, I go across 1 and then down 2, and I can put another point. Doing the same process again, go across 1 and then down 2, then I can put another point. Now that I've got 3 points, I can go ahead and join my line, which is step 3. So adding in my line, making sure it goes across those 3 points. And then the final step is going to be label the line. So y equals negative 2x plus 4. And that is my completed graph for part B. So having a look at part C for my third example, y equals 3 over 4x minus 2. So step 1, identify the y-intercept, and it is going to be negative 2. So I'm putting a dot at negative 2. The second step is going to be apply the gradient. Now a gradient of 3/4 or 3 over 4 means that every time I go across 4, I need to go up 3. So the 3 value is going to be my movement up the y-axis. My 4 value is my movement across the x-axis. So across 4, up 3. So across 4, up 3, and then I need to put another dot, and then do that process again. So across 4 and up 3, put another dot. Now I've got my 3 dots. I can go ahead and draw the line, which is my third step. So drawing a line, making sure it connects all of those 3 dots across the whole Cartesian plane, and then finishing off my graph by labeling the line. So y equals 3/4 of x minus 2. So that's some examples of how do we draw a graph using the gradient intercepts method for a linear equation.